Well, I think this is a 10 by 10 inch canvas. And I thought maybe we could put a little scene on it. Looking across the water. And when we look across the water, well, that's a bit confusing, isn't it? That's still not quite what I'm after here. Maybe more along that lines. More along that line, I should say. Pun intended. Okay, and then we have some distant stuff. Some distant lake shore. Whoops, that was just a tremor. An EKG line. Alright, there's some stone, there's a little more. Bit of a sheer cliff there, maybe. Bit of a beach in the foreground. And, you know, what if we just have some interesting-ish cloud shapes. Sort of mostly overcast, but I know it looks a little funny right now. It can only go two ways. It can look funnier, or it could look better. Let's get this line looking reasonably straight. Okay. We can play with that. Okay, let's put our shapes in. This is another one of those very toothy canvases, so to get tight, hard, accurate lines is going to be a bit difficult, so I don't know if I'm even going to try too hard to do that. But we won't worry about that just yet. I'm using ultramarine blue and burnt sienna right now. Okay. I think that's basically what we're after here for the foreground. Well, the foreground. No. The main event, I suppose, is what I should be calling it. And I think I'll just block in solidly the greenery with more of that same ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Okay. Did I put a tree there down below on shore? I'm not sure. But that's okay. I can change my mind. Okay, I think what I'll do is block in the rock now, or this shoreline and then cliff area, using just straight raw umber. Keeping fairly dark. Actually, I'll add just a lick of ultramarine blue to that. Definitely not the ooh, ah part of the painting, but well, as we know, it's gotta be done. Still fun to do. Now let's put in some color for our distant line of trees here. I'm going to use cobalt blue, burnt sienna, and again I'm going to go fairly dark to start with. I put a bit of white in there as well, but not too much. Yeah, that'll do, I think. It is in the distance, so. And what do we do here? No, I don't think I want another hill back there. I don't think I want to indicate that. I think we'll just do something along those lines. Okay, I don't have to be too worried about that line yet because that'll have to be straight when I paint it, not when I'm washing it in. Alright, now we're going to have some light on the water, and that sky is going to be, I'm thinking, kind of a warmish gray. So I'm going to use ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, the slightest touch of raw umber, is that too light? No, I think that's okay. Oh, by the way, Old Gamer, I think he left a comment saying that he noticed that I don't really use any greens straight out of the tube. Now, on occasion, I have had a little bit of Viridian green on my palette. As a rule, I prefer to mix my greens, because I have the colors that I need on my palette to mix my greens. So if it's already mixed in the tube, the color looks a little flatter. If I mix them as I'm painting, kind of helps each color come to life a little bit. I don't like a palette that is cluttered with a million different colors when you don't need them. I prefer to make them as I go. I just find that in general it makes for just a little richer painting. Just gives some kind of richness to it that yeah, it's because it's not so thoroughly mixed, I think, you know, it's just slightly mixed. Okay, that's going to be water. Add a little more blue to that, a little more ultramarine blue. And a bit of burnt sienna. Going darker again because we are, excuse me, you know, this cliff, this bluff that's sticking out into the water is providing some degree of darkness in this water that's below it. And for the sake of design, I think that I can extend that right across the water surface here. Okay. Hold my brush differently. I'm going to remind myself to every now and then just grab it differently and be a little more aggressive with my strokes. Hold it differently, and I'm less shaky as well, so when it's held like that. Okay, that could stand to be darker yet. Certainly here. Okay, good enough. Then we'll have, this is going to be raw umber and a bit of ultramarine blue. Our shoreline, which that line is not going to stay there like that. I don't think it will anyway. It'd be awfully dark and strong where water meets shore, which can happen, but we're going to have to play that one by ear. We'll see how the painting goes. And as we establish those lines, now I'm going to throw a little bit of raw umber and yellow ochre together. Okay. So we have a sort of a greenish brown now. So yeah, Viridian green I find I like to use sometimes, but it seems fairly distinctive. It has sort of a cool look to it depending on what you mix it with. I like it, but to my eye, and this is personal, you know, as always, this is to my eye, there aren't too many times where I actually feel I need to use it. I don't like typically strong, bright greens. I find that they can look, to my eye, they can look garish. And yeah, a little bit cheesy. So that's why I usually don't. You know, Viridian green is often a base that is used if you were to add, for example, Cad Yellow Pale to Viridian green. You end up with a very intense bright green, which we used very sparingly here and there. I think works, but in general, for my purposes, don't need it. I'll have this little charcoal sketch on there of a cloud design I would kind of like, but you know, then I realized it's only a 10 by 10 inch canvas and I don't want to be playing around with tiny brushes. I want to keep it a little bit stronger than that. So we'll simplify it a little bit. Might even do away with it completely. I don't know. I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay. Make those cloud bottoms fairly dark. Maybe something coming out from about here. Whoops, that's right over that tree. Yeah, maybe. Let me just, that's cobalt blue, raw umber, and alizarin crimson, by the way. Let me just go add a little yellow ochre to that mix and a little white. Just a little bit. Okay, a little more white. Okay. Still not sure I like it. It would be good. It would be good to go. I'd be quite happy if, something like this on maybe a 16 by 20 minimum. But I'm going to just continue to fumble my way, excuse me, through the sky while I decide really what I want to do with that. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this burnt sienna toning, staining, tinting, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to put in some yellow ochre and white. The temptation is blue sky, but I think I'd rather keep it just on the warm side. Yellow ochre, a little bit of alizarin crimson, a little bit of raw umber. See, these are low clouds, but much higher in the atmosphere. I'd like to indicate that there are some much higher clouds. And they are catching a little more sort of vague general lighting. Again, I don't know if any of it's going to stay. I really don't. Okay. A little more of the same. Whoops, too much alizarin crimson in my mix there. Okay, now we're getting closer to the horizon. We're also getting closer to the most interesting part of the painting, which will be in here. So I don't have a problem with raising the value a little bit. We've got a little bit pink, but yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna have to mull that over. That looks good. I'm tempted to remove that so that we have a stronger line going off the painting this way to oppose this and this. But, I think I might be able to get away with it, so just the way it is, we'll see. So something I would like to do, though, is seeing as we're still at the wash-in stage, I think I'd like to put more tree stuff up here. There's a little more variety of that. I think when I wash in the background of the sky, I'll just keep this toned down, and this will become quite intense down here. So I'm not too worried about that going off the painting like that. Yes, the trees are triangles right now in the wash-in. They often are in my wash-ins, you know, if they're in the distance. And then I will cut into them a little bit and change them as the painting goes along. Okay, well, this is all going to be quite wet still today. So I think that we'll leave it at that for now. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.